Hey everyone, we'll be waiting for the rest of the crew to board the plane before we launch off here. Hi Kayla, hey Julia, hi everyone that's signing in. Drop a message in the chat where you signing in from. Hey, welcome Chase. Thanks for joining us. Okay, shout out to Roseville, Samantha, Barry, not too far from me. Riverside in the building, okay. San Pedro, Samantha, okay. Addison, thanks. Pismo Beach. Santa Maria, okay, right in the slow area. Who else we got in the building? We'll get started in about 2 minutes here. Hi, Daniela. Okay, Pleasanton in the house too. Got the Tri-Valley going. We got the legend, Walter Harris in the building too. Hey, what's going on, Vince? Thanks for joining us. Any parents in the audience too? Give a shout out if your parents are in the audience or your family, or any supporters, any counselors out there? All right. We'll count down to 60 seconds. We're going to launch off. All right, Emily. Hi, Vasquez family and friends. Okay, Riggs family and friends. That's cool. We always like to have family. I mean, we know it takes a village. So we're glad that you guys are paying attention and hopefully taking some notes. We'll be able to connect with you in a second. All right, 30 seconds. If you don't got your TSA clearance now, we're going to launch off. Plane's going to take off. So we're going to get bored. Get ready to strap in. Okay, Liz, Carmen's family, Smith family, the Berry family. Okay. Well, if anyone else doesn't have their family or friends or counselors or anybody there supporting them, just know we got a bunch of alum, we've got faculty, we've got a bunch of people here to support you. So you're not alone. And just a couple of housekeeping rules before we get going here. Number one, the chat will have various opportunities to send questions in, and we'll also, you feel free to mute yourself and keep your camera off if you like. I know most of you guys already have your camera off. And what'll happen is you'll hear the speakers. Once someone's speaking, their camera it'll automatically go to their camera. And so let's start off. Let me tell you this. My name is Demetrius Chapman. I'm a regional admissions manager here with Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I'm really excited to have you here today. We've never done anything like this, and this is the first and hopefully not the last time we connect with you. So welcome. One thing I want to focus on today is really reminding you this is all about you. This is all about you, the student. Congratulations. Yes, congratulations. Not just to you, student, but also to your family and friends who supported you along this journey. And give your parent a high five right now. Give them a hug, give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a congratulations too, because we know you didn't do it by yourself. And this day right here starts the next journey. So before we get going, I want to acknowledge a huge supporting cast that we have behind the scenes that you may not see. First person I want to acknowledge is Roxana. Roxana is one of our lead managers and VPs in our admissions department. We also have Walter Harris, who covers a lot of schools across the state. We have Anna down in San Diego. We have Miguel, who covers different regions in LA and Northern California. We have myself. We have Mandy, who does the Central Coast and Central California. And then we have, make sure I don't miss anybody. Yeah, so Walter, Roxana, Anna, Mandy, Miguel, and also Melissa Furlong, one of our department heads. So these people behind the scenes are the reasons this is happening, and having them take the time out to support and ask questions and be available for us is going to be a really huge thing. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go through about 100 slides, and we'll take notes and we'll have a test. No, I'm just kidding. So loosen up, sit back, relax. We've got a couple of slides, but the biggest thing is I'm going to stop talking and then I'm going to open it up to some of our featured speakers. So, the purpose of this event is to really give you a hands-on experience. As you can see behind me, you see the San Luis Obispo environment. We are like so juiced up about having you come out to campus and experience the whole Cal Poly Learn by Doing. For us to do that, we know that there's a lot of things that's happening in your life, and there's a lot of things that's happening across the world. And we want to let you know that our Mustang family is resilient, and we are staying focused. And we know that these things that are happening in our country are affecting everyone differently. But we want you to know that we're still here supporting you, and our journey is going to continue. We want you to focus on your purpose and what you want to bring value to at Cal Poly, because you're needed here. We want you here. All of those who are here listening in, the families and the students in the chat, people like Samantha and the Jimenez family and Barry family, we want you guys at Cal Poly. You are wanted here. And so that's why we're doing this today. So one of the things that we'll do is we'll address and reiterate some of the important dates and deadlines. You'll see some of the strength of our academics, and you'll see the value of choosing your major day one at Cal Poly. Now, you're probably considering what it really means to spend the next few years of your life and what degree will help you. Now, the biggest thing that we'll talk about too is ROI, the return on investment, right? Because you're not just going to school to just sit there for 4 years. You're going to put something in and get something out of it, not just for you, but for your future legacy. So one thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and open it up to our first featured speaker. our first speaker, excuse me, I want to pull up his bio. Bear with me 1 second. So our first speaker, I want to first go with one of our true boots on the ground ambassadors. His name's Mr. Jamie Patton. He's a campus ambassador. He runs our student affairs, and he is the biggest advocate when it comes to representing the students, making sure resources are available for our students, making sure our students are feeling at home and feeling welcome on campus. That's an important piece of our campus. And I'm gonna let Mr. Jamie Patton take the mic and share with us what Cal Poly Learn by Doing means to him.
Thank you, Demetrius, and welcome to you all to this virtual experience, this virtual reception for Cal Poly. My name is Dr. Jamie Patton. I serve as Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs with a focus on diversity and inclusion. Congratulations, as Demetrius said, to you and to your families for this achievement. It's nothing more than an achievement, not only to be admitted to college, but to be admitted to one of the best in this world, in this country and in the world, Cal Poly. I know you worked hard to achieve this goal, and I'm truly hopeful that you'll join our Mustang family. A little bit about me: I joined Cal Poly a little over 2 years ago in student affairs. My job is to help cultivate a healthy campus climate where everyone can be free to be their unique and authentic self. In addition, I work with many university partners across campus to make sure that everyone feels welcome at Cal Poly. In my 2 years here, I found many similarities between Cal Poly and my undergraduate student experience on the East Coast. At the time, my university was 3 hours away from home. I didn't know anyone there. It was known to be one of the best state schools, despite the fact that it was not really diverse ethnically. As a first-generation young Black man raised in North Philadelphia, this was an entirely different experience. Despite the small number of Black students at my university, I managed to build community. Although the environment was much different than where I grew up, I settled in and was able to turn my university into my home away from home. I achieved in the classroom and connected with faculty who supported my experience and most of all, believed in me. You'll find the same kind of nurturing environment and supportive community here at Cal Poly. Our faculty and staff truly want to see you thrive, whether it's programming and services that help you academically or financially, or events and other opportunities to help you build community. We have a variety of resources to contribute to your everyday educational and personal well-being. What has impressed me the most about Cal Poly is the strength of our community. When I think about the faculty that you'll have an opportunity to work with from day one, the research opportunities to be in laboratories, both outside and inside, is amazing and like no other. I'm impressed and I love that over just about 1,000 of our students choose to give back to a program called Week of Welcome and become orientation leaders to help usher in our newly admitted students or our freshman class each year. Our students give back. Over 50% of our students are engaged in community service and civic opportunities. So again, thinking about how we can best serve our community and be ambassadors and those who help the state of California. We are a part of the California State University system. And then 93% of our students, again, this is something that astonished me, 93% of our students, after they graduate from Cal Poly, they're actually landing jobs that are directly tied to their field in which they graduated, so their degree program. That's amazing. Community is definitely an interesting word right now when I think about it, especially as you are even working through your situation with regard to the COVID-19 pandemic that we're all learning from. over the last couple of weeks. But again, we're always committed to making sure that once you're a Mustang, we take care of other Mustangs. Students, I think one of the things that will come of this pandemic, at least from Cal Poly, is that we're going to emerge as a stronger university and have a better, even better student experience for you with regard to how we provide the service both in person and virtually. Honestly, I have the opportunity to work with our cross-cultural centers, which includes our multicultural center, our Pride Center, our Gender Equity Center, Men and Masculinities, our Dream Center, and the Black Academic Excellence Center. We're envisioning new ways and to be creative and provide the best service and provide the best community that you can thrive here at Cal Poly. Know that we are interested in providing an experience that out of class that matches the quality of the experience in class, and know that we are here to support your personal and professional success. I'll stop there, but I close in saying that a few years ago, and what really inspired me one of the things that inspired me to join the Mustang family was this button right here. It says love, empathy, respect. That was a program that was started grassroots from our faculty members who really wanted to show our students that we really cared about them, that we would treat them with love, empathy, and respect if they came and if they needed and reached out. That grassroots effort has grown tremendously, even to the point where, again, 2015, it was just something that a couple faculty and staff members had embodied. Now it's up to over 1,000 faculty and staff members, and actually a student organization has birthed that. So it's definitely a place where, again, we believe in love, empathy, respect. And our President Jeffrey Armstrong, actually said in 2018, and I really believe he embodies this: learn by doing is incomplete without diversity. Right. Again, learn by doing is incomplete without diversity. And we know that diversity matters, and we're hopeful that you will join our Mustang family because you belong here. You belong here at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. So I thank you for your time. I look forward to engaging with you over chat and over the next hour. Thank you, Demetrius, for inviting me to join you today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Patton. I appreciate you. And just to kind of reiterate what you're saying, it's like, we want our campus to reflect what California actually looks like, and having that diverse advocate like you, Dr. Patton, and is going to help parents and family and faculty understand that their students are going to be in great hands, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So one of the things that we've seen in the chat, we have students in Northern California. This was sent out to a lot of students throughout the state. And so this is specialized for you. And as you see the beach there, you know, our campus is 10 minutes from the beach, from several beaches. You know, we have that small town feel. It's about 50,000 in the population of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, but about 22 to 23,000 of those are students. And so everything on our campus is designed to support that intimate feel. And what you'll find in a lot of other campuses across the nation is some campuses don't have that collaborative, that supportive, where everybody, you know, is supporting each other. You know, this is a campus that I'll let the students talk about it a little bit more, but this is a campus that's a collaborative space where students want to see each other succeed and thrive. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a sneak peek of like what Cal Poly and Learn by Doing means. And so you'll see a video pop up shortly, so bear with us.
How you start each new day says a lot about you. At Cal Poly, we begin as we always have, by putting knowledge into action. We call it Learn by Doing. And for more than a century, we've made this idea the center of everything we do. We believe that experience is part of the curriculum. We don't see any difference between education and the real world. We know that it's the best way to learn and keep learning for the rest of our lives. So when we begin our day, we dive right in, head first and hands on, because we're not satisfied to sit on the sidelines of our own education. And we know that if we want to make an impact on our world tomorrow, we have to put in the work today. If at first we don't succeed, we rework, rearrange, reimagine, redesign, rethink, rebuild, and refuse to give up. Because our state, our nation, and our world need us to be ready from day one, to take what we learned by doing and use it to help build a brighter future. How you start each day says a lot about you. How you spend your day says even more about how you'll start your career and how you'll live your life. Because it's one thing to be ready one day, and it's quite another to be ready day one.
Yes. Ready day one. That's what it's all about. And just some statistics, parents and students, scholars. 79% of our graduates have jobs before they even finish their degree. How about that? How about that? Yeah, 79%. And another thing, when you understand the learn by doing and the collaborative space that we have on campus, not only is it something that we hear and you see in slogans and on materials and throughout the campus, it's something that is a common denominator amongst all the students. And the prime example is going to be our next speaker. His name's Brandon Rawl. He's a current student and he's studying political science. And this guy is just an ambassador on campus. He's an advocate for students. Yeah, Brandon, I'm talking about you. And a quick story, even how I got connected. This is a prime example. I was on campus and I was looking for a particular room because we were doing this breakout session for a training we were doing with a bunch of our regional managers. And I walked by this space and the guy saw that I looked kind of lost. And that guy was Brandon Rawl. And he was like, hey, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, I'm looking for this space. And he comes out, he shows me, and then we start chatting. And he tells me, he's like, oh yeah, I'm from San Jose, Los Gatos area. And, we ended up exchanging information. And, part of the reason why he's here today, is because, I saw that ambassador in him. And so me, as a staff member and seeing students like him, like that's the collaboration that we're bringing to campus. And we know that it takes a village. We know that it's iron sharpens iron. And so Brandon, go ahead, jump on, unmute yourself and tell us about yourself and your experience.
Wow, so no pressure. But thank you for that introduction, and thank you for the LSAT books, by the way, that you mailed to me. But my name is Brandon Rawl. My pronouns are he, him, his. Like Demetrius said, I'm from San Jose, California, and I'm not actually a current student. I just graduated from Cal Poly this winter quarter. I was a political science major. I was at Cal Poly for 3 years. I had a pre-law concentration and minors in ethnic studies, anthropology, and geography and French. So a few minors there. And yeah, so with Cal Poly, there's a bunch of different learn by doing opportunities, whether it's in class, outside of class, there's a whole variety. So speaking from my experience as a political science major, I had a bunch of different opportunities, whether it was in the form of tests or internships. Like I took 3 different classes, civil rights in America, civil liberties, and constitutional theory, with this one professor named Dr. Den Otter. And the way he structured his tests were the same way the test would be in law school. And my next step in life is law school. So it was very beneficial to take tests in undergrad that I would be taking later on in life. And then, just like Demetrius was saying, putting yourself out there, making connections are important, because if you show up in the classroom, make those connections with professors. Professors will look out for you in the future. Another example I had this professor named Dr. Denbo. I took a few classes with her, and she saw how passionate I was with everything concerning civil rights. So she emailed me one day. She's like, hey, Brandon, if you're interested, there's a bunch of different internship opportunities offered by the political science department. And then she threw out a bunch of different names for me through email. And then she let me pick one of them. She put me in touch with the director for California Rural Legal Assistance, which was actually located like 2 minutes driving distance from campus. And then I ended up getting an internship there for 2 quarters and got course credit for it. And I got to learn a bunch of different, the day-to-day activities of lawyers, which again was super helpful for what I want to do in life. And then even outside of academics, you have a bunch of different opportunities to grow with Cal Poly. With whether student clubs, organizations, there's a whole bunch of leadership opportunities. Jamie brought it up before, but he talked about WOW, which is the Week of Welcome. And I was actually a cross-cultural experience Week of Welcome leader my second year at Cal Poly, and then an orientation facilitator the next. So I got to train the next series of WOW leaders. And WOW leaders welcome all newly admitted students. So all of you will go through that process. You get a whole overview of campus in San Luis Obispo. And you go through a whole training during spring quarter, which is your third quarter at Cal Poly. It's 3 hours every week, and they really give you the leadership skills to be able to facilitate conversations having to do with diversity and inclusion, and then more sensitive topics along those lines. And then I was also a student assistant. Well, I still am because of the whole COVID-19 situation, but a student assistant for the cross-cultural centers, which Jamie also touched upon beforehand, which is all about making students feel that sense of belonging. Because as everyone has said already, you do belong at Cal Poly and you were chosen for a reason. I work particularly for the Men and Masculinities program, which Demetrius actually walked by that one day we met. And it's all about critically evaluating expressions of masculinity and having different healthy conversations about it. So throughout my experience at Cal Poly, even though I was there for only a short 3 years, I've had a bunch of different opportunities to grow as an individual and as a student. And yeah, it's made me for the better. And then even outside of leading types of opportunities, there's different opportunities where you get to speak. Like I spoke during the Martin Luther King Jr. Legacy event, and it was just another amazing opportunity to develop my leadership skills and put myself out there.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. We'll come back to you even more, but yeah, Brandon, I actually heard him speak at that Martin Luther King Jr. Legacy event, and coincidentally, I didn't get to talk to you at that event, but walking by the Men and Masculinity meeting and you coming to connect, it was destined to happen. So thank you for being here and sharing that, Brandon.
Thank you. Thanks, Mandy.
All right, so we'll continue on for the duration of our flight. Hopefully you guys are still strapped in the cabin. We'll be serving water and snacks later. The next speaker I'm going to introduce is a young lady that's very, very, very important to me. And this young lady, Ronisha Smith, she is actually a Sacramento native. She was born and raised here in Sacramento, California, and she's in her first year here at Cal Poly. And the reason why she is so important to me is because she helps me understand the journey as young students and young people making their way for their future, for their legacy. As a first generation college student, this young lady had, I think, over 20 offers. I'm talking in-state, out-of-state. She applied to so many different schools, and so many schools were after her to come to her campus, come to their campus, and she chose Cal Poly. Let me introduce you to Ronisha Smith. You there, Ronisha?
Yeah. Hello. My name is Ronisha Smith. My pronouns are she, her, hers. As he said, I'm a first-year student at Cal Poly, and I am an animal science major. So a year ago, I was in the same boat as all of you guys, getting that acceptance from Cal Poly. Cal Poly was one of my top schools, so that was one of the best days of my life. But the learn by doing. So ever since I first walked on campus, I started learning exactly what the Learn by Doing motto was, especially like starting as early as WOW Week, week of Welcome Week, which you all will be going through. I got to experience so many different things that I've never done before. I got to go kayaking. I got to like try salsa dancing for the first time. I went on hikes. I never really gone hikes, you know. For me, I just stayed at home, like in my hometown every day. So coming to Cal Poly, I definitely learned a lot of things, and that was just because I actually got to like physically do them, which was really amazing. And then even in class, as I said, I'm an animal science major, so I'm on the pre-vet track, and the classes are really hands-on, and I get to learn so many different things, and like they truly embody the Learn by Doing motto. So for instance, this past quarter, I was in meat science and systems of small ruminant management, which is basically sheep and goat class. So for those labs, I got to do lots of hands-on things. For instance, I got to castrate a goat, which is basically like neutering it, but I got to physically do it myself. And although it sounds gruesome, it was honestly one of the best experiences ever, because I got to truly do it and like have hands-on experience with it. And then what else? I also got to see a cow be, I know it sounds gruesome, I got to see a cow be like slaughtered and like see how it goes through the whole meat packaging process. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but because I want to be a vet, like that honestly meant so much to me, because I got to actually see like the things that I will be doing in the future. And the Learn by Doing motto, like it really helps you, like, and I'm not sure about the other majors, but for animal science major, it's like really hands-on, and it was such a great experience. But not even on campus, even off campus, there's so many different things that you get to learn about and like actually do, and it's really like a big learning experience, and it's a great experience. And I don't know, I love Cal Poly, honestly, and I think you all will love it too. You learn so many different things and get to experience so many different things, and you meet new friends, and the school truly does embody the Learn by Doing motto, and I absolutely love it. And because it's my first year, I haven't done that. Well, honestly, I've done a lot my first year. Well, within 2 quarters because of this whole COVID-19 thing. But I've done that much stuff within 2 quarters, and I'm just so excited to see what I'm doing within my full 4 years. So just showing you how much, or that's not even all of it. That's like less than half of the stuff that I've been doing. So I'm excited to see what the next 4 years have in store for me, and I'm excited to continue to do the Learn by Doing. So yeah.
Thank you, Ranisha.
No
Thank
problem.
you. And it's very interesting because when you see a lot of the other schools out there, you know, I'm just a proponent for higher education in general. And so, you know, I know that a lot of students on this call or families, you guys are deciding, right? We've got a lot of things going on in the country, and we're sitting back and looking at, hey, what's this award letter looks like? What's Cal Poly looks like? You know, this school has this kind of alumni base. This school has this kind of experience, or you know, whatever it may be. You're going to be making the best decisions for you and your family and your future. But one of the things I want to reiterate about Cal Poly is when you look at the hands-on experience that you are getting early, right? You're not waiting until your junior year, or you're not in a large, you know, 500 student, you know, amphitheater. While there is some larger classes, but when you're talking about Ranisha, who's, you know, 18, 19 years old, getting this experience, when it comes time to junior, senior year, she already has the experience. And that's why when you get into the workforce and they ask you, you put a job application in and they say, well, what kind of experience you have? And most students at other schools are going to be like, well, none. I've been in college for 4 years. Well, at Cal Poly, it's like, no, well, my freshman year, I actually neutered a goat. My freshman year, I know some of the parents were like, whoa, but that was hilarious. I like that. That's the hands-on animal science, you know? And so she's planning to be a veterinarian, and she's on that track. And Brandon is getting into policy and and getting prepared for the LSAT. And I had some old LSAT books that I sent to him because they were sitting collecting dust. So, you know, it's a family environment, and, you know, especially our first generation and underrepresented students, you know, we have a tight knit group. And I'll let some of our other speakers talk right now. I told you I would shut up, but let's move on to the next speaker. And this gentleman, this guy here, so he's he's the president, or actually president emeritus of the Black Alumni Chapter. It's an auxiliary chapter where all of the chapters, all of the members from the Black alumni are all across the country, but they're actually based here in Sacramento. And shout out to Ron Adams, who is the current president. He actually graduated from Cal Poly in the fire science department. He's a current firefighter in San Francisco right now, and he couldn't make it. But Stephen Cheek is our speaker right now. Mr. Cheek this guy's phenomenal. He first of all, he runs like a $33 million budget here in the state capitol in Sacramento. But not only that, he's one of those guys where he reaches back and pulls forward. He has students standing on his shoulders. He's helping staff and mentoring people like me when it comes to, you know, being in the community and doing things when it comes to like building and, you know, opening doors of opportunity for other students. Mr. Stephen Cheek, graduate. I won't say what year he graduated, but he is a business graduated, business department, college of, I'm sorry. He's a finance major, right? Stephen, take it away.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, Demetrius, thank you so much for the introduction. Yeah, so I actually graduated from Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. My concentration was management information systems. And just coincidentally, because at the time when I graduated, most of the first things that ever got automated in a company was usually your payroll. And because of that, I did a lot of payroll systems and a lot of finance and a lot of accounting, but it was just an application that was associated with computer science. So actually my background was computer programming and that sort of thing. So that's where I got my start. So thank you for hosting this. This is actually, I mean, I've never done one of these before. So this right here is the epitome of learn by doing, because this is my first time ever doing one of these video, whatever this is, video reception. So thank you, Demetrius, for the introduction. So like I said, I did graduate from Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and I will tell you the year was 1985. So it was a long time. It was like probably before everybody here was born except Jamie. No, actually probably before Jamie was born too. Probably just only a few people were actually born before I graduated from Cal Poly. So my learn by doing experience started just similar to Ranisha. It was at Cal Poly. And I had the opportunity to actually develop a software application for an auto dealership. And I learned how to interact with the customer and do some systems analysis and design and implementation of a computer software program for an auto dealership. I did the inventory management program for him. And it was one of those things where I rolled up my sleeves, I got it done, hammered it out, got credit for my class. And it taught me a lot. I learned a tremendous amount. So that was my first and largest learn by doing example. And to just give you like a perspective of, you know, your career, you'll never actually leave that learn by doing philosophy. If it gets ingrained in you, like it has in me, you actually, just as an example, 5 years ago, I was thrust into a situation that Demetrius actually made reference to. And it was here in Sacramento at the state capitol, here in Sacramento, but it was at the Office of the Public Defender. And they needed somebody to develop a budget for them because they had a tragic accident took place where their financial officer was incapacitated and they needed a budget in 3 weeks. So they did they did a recruitment. and they picked my resume that I had submitted, and they saw that I had gone to Cal Poly. They saw that I had, extensive experience in accounting and finance. And so I was selected to help them in this situation. And at the time, their budget was only 28 million. And so I developed their budget in about 3 weeks. And that was another illustration of learn by doing, because I had not done finance or accounting at Sacramento County, but I had done it previously. I had done it, for Arthur Andersen and Company and some other companies and stuff. So learn by doing is something that gets in your blood. And basically for me, the essence of learn by doing is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And fear can be something that holds a lot of people back. And fear, people, for example, have a fear of public speaking, and they fear that more than death itself. But one of the things that we learned at Cal Poly was to feel fear and the unknown and still be able to, function and move forward and accomplish some things and take risks. So I've done that throughout my career. Even as recently, I do that constantly, basically. But as far as another thing that Demetrius touched on is I am one of the founding members of the Cal Poly Black Alumni Chapter. And one of the things that is kind of near and dear to my heart is giving back and interacting with the younger people and being able to share with them some of my experience, some of my wisdom, and some of the tips and tricks for actually surviving at Cal Poly and getting through, getting your degree, and being a professional out in the industry. So networking is vitally important. Knowing people, being able to open doors, call people who are alumni from Cal Poly and say, hey, my name is Ranisha Smith. I'm looking to get some experience as this, that, and the other. And if you are able to call somebody who's a fellow Cal Poly alum, that opens doors, because there's a lot of Cal Poly alumni that are out there, and the Cal Poly Black Alumni Chapter is looking to network and bring all those people into the fold and use this sort of technology that we're using today and make it just something that it's uplifting and edifying for everybody in the Cal Poly family. So that's all that I have for now. I'm going to turn it back over to Demetrius. I'm here for answering questions, whatever have you. And I'll just leave it there.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cheek. Great job.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I mean, as you see this slide on the screen right now, friends, we make an impact. You see 93% are positively engaged. How many people who are doing a field that they didn't study? Well, in Cal Poly, we have 95% of the students who are getting jobs related to their major. And that's key. That's a key performance indicator for how the learn by doing, and us as a Cal Poly, a polytechnic institution, right? Out of the other, 22, 23 CSU campuses, we have some of the strongest numbers when it comes to, looking at the application of your degree. And this is a true performance. I mean, Stephen Cheek and Ranisha and Brandon are speaking to that. So as we move forward, we're going to jump into our Q&A portion for the presentation. And let me see if we have any questions in the chat box. But while we're filtering that, I'm going to go ahead and just remind you that someone asked about the slides. Yeah, these slides, I mean, all of this information is online, but also you're able to download these flyers. We'll be putting some resource guides and a lot of other links. And if you do have questions, if we don't answer them publicly, we'll respond to them in the chat. But I will say this, the first question I would say, parents, go ahead and plug your ears and cover your eyes. Mr. Brandon Rawl and Miss Ranisha, what do you do for fun? Let's talk. I know we're hearing all the cool stuff, but I know students, you guys are sitting there like, yeah, parents, this is all the good return on investment. But what about the fun stuff? What do you got? What do you do for fun, Brandon?
I just study all day. No, I'm just messing. What do I do for fun? I hang out with friends. That's honestly what I do for fun. I was part of the Black Student Union, part of the National Society of Black Engineers. So I'd go to those meetings every week and just kick it with people who I felt comfortable with.
Okay. Hey, tell us about that. Are you familiar with the dinner that you guys did, the Black Student Union did at the restaurant?
At the restaurant, are you talking about Black Love?
Black Love, yeah.
Black Love. So Black Love's an annual celebration. It always happens in the month of February because it's Black History Month. And then it's put on by the Black Student Union and then for the past 4 years, it's been at the San Luis Obispo Museum of Art. So that's where it was this year and last year. But yeah, it's the time for all Black people in the community to get together and just have fun.
Nice.
There's live performances, dances sometimes, and yeah, good food.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent.
always good.
All right. Well, we're not seeing any comments, any questions right now in the chat box, but I'll ask another question. Let's talk about. Let me double check here. So, Ronisha, tell us, you applied to several schools, got into several schools across the country. Why did you choose Cal Poly?
So for me, it wasn't around the application process. It was a little bit before, but I went on a tour of different schools in California, and for some reason, just when I stepped on Cal Poly's campus, I instantly loved it. I loved everything about it. And the tour wasn't even that long because we were behind schedule, but I just loved the campus so much. And one of my teachers was a Cal Poly alumni, and it was just a great experience, and I just absolutely loved it. So of course, when I got all of my acceptances, I was weighing them, weighing all the different ones, but just in my heart, I always knew that Cal Poly was the school for me. So even though I was considering all of them, I always had a love for Cal Poly. So I ended up choosing Cal Poly.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Dr. Patton, here's a question. Let's help the parents out with, making them feel safe and comfortable with their student moving miles away from home. How safe is campus? Oh, you're on mute. There you go.
There it is. Y'all got me now?
There we go. Yeah.
So campus, I would say, is just like your home. We're going to encourage your students to do the same things that I'm hopeful that you encourage them to do while they're home. Lock your doors, be aware of your surroundings, and so the like. So as far as campus security and safety, I would say, again, we're no different than any of the campuses across the country. We have an amazing group of individuals who work in the residence halls called CSDs, or community CSDs. Oh, wow. Hall directors in my time, that's what we call them. But they're master's level individuals who will be living in partnership with your student that will be there in addition to our resident assistants. We have many, again, faculty and staff that are engaged. And one of the things that I'll say it again, you'll hear me say it again in my closing, but it's incumbent on your students to really become connected and really accept this as their home. So creating an environment, creating a network that will work for them, that includes students, so those who they live in community with, faculty members. I'm hopeful that they're able to really make a deep connection their first quarter with at least one faculty member, if not two, that will help them along their way. A staff member, either in a cross-cultural centers, it might be a financial aid officer, it might be their academic advisor, you never know, but hopefully your student will be willing to make those connections. And then again, and in those things, in a student organization is the last one. And so those are the things that help create a safe environment, a safe community where others will be looking for you, others will be looking to connect and get you connected. I know when I first went to school, I was blessed to be a member of the football team. So I had that community built in for me. from day one. And not everybody has that, but if you're willing to put yourself out there and create a network, it will work for you. And again, those are the things that, at least for me, that I'm hopeful that our students do to feel safe on our campus, by creating that community, creating that home, away from home atmosphere where they're looking out for others and others are looking out for them.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
We got one question in the chat. And before we go to that question, I want to ask this question, because this is a common thing that sometimes students are unsure about. Is, well, on the application, I put my first choice major and I'm admitted to Cal Poly for that major. Can I change my major? And I know, being young scholars and figuring life out, and things interest you and things do change and things happen. And so we do have opportunity to change your major. Roughly 25% of our students or so do change their major. But one thing to keep in mind that we do is we have academic advising before you even change your major. And so what we do is we have a whole system and a whole process that allows you to meet one-on-one with counselors and actually go through a strategic process to help you understand, well, why are you changing your major? Were you succeeding in that major? Is there some things and some altered courses that we could do to fit where you're trying to go? Sometimes the other question is like, well, I want to get completely out of this major, or I want to come into Cal Poly as one major and change into engineering. And one thing to keep in mind is those department heads and the faculty, they're going to be looking at your transcripts as well if you're trying to change major. And if you were admitted to Cal Poly based on one set of criteria, they're going to know that. And basically you won't be able to really navigate the system that way, where you're like, well, I want to come in as one thing and change to another. We see and find that it's an easier transition for students when they make lateral moves within their major. So like if you were admitted for liberal arts and you were looking at graphic communication and you wanted to go into journalism or something of that nature, that's an easy or that's a process that would be definitely supported. If you're trying to go from mechanical engineering to civil engineering, those type of changes are within the department, within the college. Mm-hmm. So those are a lot easier to do. We had a question, how do I apply for a minor? I'm from the Bay Area. What's it like going to a school in a college town? So the first part, Brandon, you want to talk about your minor? Because you have several minors.
Yeah, so I have 3 minors, and the way it works to apply for a minor, the easiest way is if you have internet connection somewhere, to just go online, you look up Cal Poly, and then whatever minor you're interested in, for example, like ethnic studies minor, and then you pull up the catalog, you see the different requirements, and then there will be a form, a PDF form somewhere on the web page that you can click on, you print it, you write down your information like your name, like your student ID, different things like that. And then usually the easiest way is to just email the person. On the webpage, it'll say somewhere that the head of the department's email contact is this and that. So then you just email that person, you tell them that you're interested in getting a minor, and then you arrange time to meet them. And then you go into their office and you just sign paperwork, and that's it. And the thing with minors is that they don't even go on your diploma. So minors are really just for yourself. They go on your transcript, but they don't go on your diploma. So they're just for yourself. And sometimes you don't even need to complete a minor. You just take the classes that interest you. But yeah, that's how you apply for a minor.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. And just to kind of piggyback off that, and one of the things in coming into Cal Poly, we like students to get acclimated to the courses that's in your major, kind of get settled, right? There's a lot of things that'll be happening with you as an individual, as you're growing, as you're being on your own, and kind of figuring life out as you're kind of a graduate or stepping into your young adulthood. As you explore campus and talk to people, talk to other students, take courses, that's going to help inform that decision as well. And then you had a part 2 to the question was, what's it like going to school in a college town, being from the Bay Area? Anybody want to talk about that? Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, so I'm also from the Bay Area. I'm from San Jose, California. And then I honestly didn't know Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. I didn't know San Luis Obispo was a college town until I got here. I visited UC Santa Barbara, and I saw how that was very much like the traditional college town. But Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo is definitely a college town. The vast majority of the population of the town are students who go to Cal Poly. And then I'd say the benefit of it being a college town is the whole community is super involved with the school. There's discounts everywhere you go if you're a student, whether it's Cal Poly or Cuesta. You have a free bus system. So a lot of things are catered towards the college student life with it being a college town.
Yeah, so from things being cost effective and generally featured for students, the transportation, everything is centered around students. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I mean, a lot of students don't have vehicles, and freshmen, come in their first year. It's you're mandatory to stay on campus, and you'll kind of fit in perfect with all the other students who are biking, using public transportation, carpooling, etc. All right. Let's go here. We got the legend. And when I say legend, Walter Harris he's a wealth of information. He's been at Cal Poly years. He has son who went to Cal Poly, his daughter-in-law went to Cal Poly, he went to Cal Poly. And so I want to allow him to speak a little bit to the families across California. He's been a key staple in the admissions department, and especially being an African-American man who understands the journey that has happened through Cal Poly and a lot of things that we've done. And why don't you give us a little bit of a historical perspective and why this is a perfect time for students who are first generation African-American and underrepresented backgrounds. Can you join us, Mr. Harris?
How's everyone doing today?
Good.
I am, when he says legend, what he's really saying is, here's the old guy. I came to Cal Poly as a student in 1968. I graduated in 1973 as an undergrad. I came to Cal Poly as an engineer. This whole learn by doing, taking classes in your major right off the bat, day one. That first quarter, I learned that engineering was not really the best major for me because I like to run my mouth, and engineering was not a major that would allow me to do that. So I changed majors so that I could get paid to run my mouth. Graduated in sociology in '73, and then started in the master's program, education, counseling, and guidance, and finished there in '75. But at the same time, I started work for the university in the educational opportunity program in '73. So that's a little historical. I've been in San Luis for over 50 years. I came here from Fresno, California. When I came to school here, there were 48 African-American students attending. There was 10,000 students in total on the campus. I was in another video presentation, and one of the questions that was asked is, why do individuals think that Cal Poly would be a good place for students to attend? And that was asked at the end, so I think I want to answer that at this time. Cal Poly is a great college. And Cal Poly wants you as a student to attend here. But more importantly, we need you to attend here because Cal Poly has much to offer. You students will get a great education. The cost is fairly reasonable, and you'll get outstanding opportunities to enter into the world of work or to go to grad school once you receive your degree. And the more diverse Cal Poly can be at the undergraduate level right now, the greater the opportunity for additional students from diverse backgrounds will be in the future. So it's a win-win. Cal Poly has the opportunity to improve on its diversity, which is a goal of the university. And you as a student and your family will benefit from the great education, great job placement, or students that are going on into grad school. So I think that Cal Poly is an outstanding place. Demetrius mentioned 2 of my sons attended Cal Poly. 2 of my daughter-in-laws attended Cal Poly. I think it's just an outstanding place for students to come, get a good quality education, and then go on to the next step, whatever they're interested in, going to grad school or going into the world of work.
Thank
How's
you.
that?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Harris. Thank you. One of the things, and students, one of his sons and his family restaurant, they have barbecue place down in San Luis, downtown San Luis Obispo. So not only is he involved on campus, but his family's involved in the community. So I'm really grateful for, Mr. Harris, and even welcome me into the Mustang family. One of the things that I want to also reiterate is there is a lot of initiatives right now. This is the perfect time to be a Cal Poly student. Although we do have some opportunities for growth in our diverse areas, and especially with our African-American students, this is the perfect time. And I say that with a kind of call to action, students, families, parents. If you want to be more than a student ID number, Cal Poly is for you. Because right now, our ears, our eyes, and our arms are open for students who want to come and make a difference, who want to build their legacy. And I saw some students asking about, well, what about post-grad? And I'll address that, and I'll have actually Mr. Stephen Cheek address that. But this is one of those things where you have to also go where you're needed. And we want you guys here. You guys have such a huge promise. I mean, the fact that you're on technology right now talking to us, these are things that we're learning as we're getting seasoned in our fields, but these are things that you guys are already could do like the back of your hand, So I'm grateful for you guys tuning in, and we're gonna take 2 more questions. I want to be mindful of time and let you get back to enjoying the rest of your weekend, but we'll take 2 more questions. And the first one, I'm going to open up to Mr. Cheek to talk about, to expand more on the post-grad. One of the students had said something about the learn by doing is evident, but how does that relate to post-grad and getting into the workforce? Mr. Cheek?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have some examples from my career. Actually, after I graduated from Cal Poly, I went to work in Long Beach at Boeing. and I worked as a systems analyst for 2 years. And then I wanted to differentiate myself from the masses. And so I applied to MBA programs, Master of Business Administration programs. And I actually applied to a number of different schools. And the fact that I went to Cal Poly actually helped me with my admissions to graduate programs. I got admitted into University of Michigan and to NYU, New York University, got admitted to a number of different universities. I ended up going to University of Texas in Austin, the Longhorns, and I ended up going there because it was going to be paid for. I had a scholarship through the Consortium for Graduate Study and Management, and that was the Consortium for Graduate Study and Management was a stipend and scholarship, and it was based on academic preparation. And again, going to Cal Poly helped me get that particular scholarship. And I think that having the academic preparation from Cal Poly, actually, it's a very competitive school, as you guys all know, and you have to have very good academic achievement and grades and all that sort of thing in order to get into Cal Poly. And then once you graduate, it kind of just sets you on a trajectory that you're basically competing with all the other major universities on an equal footing. So me as a Cal Poly alum, I feel I can compete with anybody from UCLA or Stanford or any of the other, first tier marquee universities. And so it never held me back. It actually propelled me forward.
Excellent. Thank you. And it's funny to you said Boeing, because you made me think of this parent. There's this parent that's here in Sacramento, and his sons go to, I think it's Christian Brothers High School, Art, he actually was a recruiter, and he used to recruit all across the country. And he reached out to me. He found my information and reached out to me. He heard I was working with Cal Poly and our students. And he's like, I used to recruit students, and I would always find Cal Poly students were way more prepared than the rest of the classes, the rest of the graduates he would recruit. Mm-hmm. And that's a tribute to our Learn by Doing, the hands-on. When you're doing that experience early in your career, early in your pathway, that's what's going to help you stand out, because by the time you're a junior, a senior, you already have that hands-on experience. Your resume is actually filled with the type of skills and competencies that apply immediately to the workforce.
Absolutely. Especially if it runs the full range from what I did as an undergrad, developing that systems application using some software, all the way what Ranisha was doing, neutering goats and stuff. So, we've got it covered.
Yeah. And just sometimes we get the question about, well, Cal Poly's only, for engineers. And the Learn by Doing spans across departments. It's a philosophy through the liberal arts, our architecture, our science and mathematics, our bio. We are one of the few schools where our undergraduates actually get to work on a human cadaver, basically a dead body, right? So a human cadaver is for research purposes for students to actually work on those things. And what you'll find is a lot of other schools don't get to do these hands-on things until they're in graduate or they're a senior. And so just keep that in mind, students. And let's close out with this one last question to Dr. Patton. What about the Black Academic Excellence Center? Can you share with us about a lot of the new things? I know Miss Anya is running the program, but can you share what's happening with the base, we call it?
1 second. Yes, good afternoon. So with the Black Academic Excellence Center, really excited. It's a program that has been in existence for a few years here at Cal Poly. And we're really excited about the direction where it's not about academic support, it's about supporting you just as a Black student. So we're revamping our looking at the different efforts that we can do to help, again, you make this your home away from home. And the Black Academic Excellence Center is housed in Building 52. And again, it's a space where you'll find community, a space where we have computer networks, free printing, many events, spades, tournaments, documentaries, things that really that you might find at home. We're hopeful to provide those opportunities there. We're starting a parent mentoring program within the Black Academic Excellence Center. And again, just enhancing the experience to help you create community. It can be a challenge sometimes where you might be one of few African-American or Black students in your classroom, in your residence hall. And so this is a space where if you need that interaction or you want that interaction, where you're not just, where you can build community with the Black community, that is a space that is there for you. And we're gonna get you, what I love about it is that we have a full-time staff member in addition to other staff that will be there to support you and help coach you through the complexities and/or some of the challenges that you may face, and/or somebody at a space where you'll get a chance to celebrate when you get that A. Or I will never forget my first year here. I did office hours in base, and just seeing in the spring quarter students come in and say, "Oh my God, I went to a NSBE conference with the student organization," and NSBE stands for the National Society of Black Engineers. And talking about that Google internship that they landed that first year based off of a connection that they made through BASE or through that network. So it's a dope spot where, again, you'll make connections both for in the classroom, outside the classroom, and beyond.
Excellent. That's right. And this spans, across BASE and, from all of our multicultural groups. And, we have a lot of, we spend millions of dollars through ASI every year to support clubs and different backgrounds who come together to do things student related and student organizing. And if we don't have it, you can build it. Those resources are there. And so thank you, Dr. Patton, for just kind of reiterating what BASE is doing. And shout out to Miss Anya, who's running that program right now.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we're about 4:45. We've got tons of questions, and here's the cool thing. We're still available for you. I know some of the questions are being answered in the chat, but the thing to remember is this is the key time for you. We're gonna put our contact information up on the screen, as well as we're accessible through admissions. Every day we have phone hours, and that's, my personal cell phone number right there. We also have, Miguel and Walter and Mandy and Anna who cover the different regions. So I'm really excited for having you guys on. I want to thank you, Dr. Patton, Mr. Cheek, Ranisha, Brandon, all of the people behind the scenes who are making this chat happen and this virtual session happen. We're so grateful. But we're most grateful for you students. We're excited to see you. We're ready for you at Cal Poly. This is a huge opportunity. This next chapter in your life is going to be written in history. And we're so excited for you. So stay tuned and make sure you keep a lookout in your email box. We'll be sending different information. We'll have more Zoom sessions over the next couple of weeks. We'll be having different breakout sessions. So in case you or your family or anyone wants to learn more about Cal Poly, you can come into these smaller breakout sessions when we'll be talking about, the different resources, the career services, all those different things that you have questions about. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And go Mustangs.